Okay, activity numero dos. We're going to go ahead and estimate our liquid volume with our metric units. So again, our two metric units are milliliters and liters. I have 3 different containers here, a little coffee cup or a mug, a juice container, and a bucket. So A, B, and C. Do you think, and I want you to keep it in your brain for now, when I drop my hand you can shout it out, but do you think that my coffee mug is going to be more than 1 liter or less than 1 liter?
Less.
Keep it in your brain, keep it in your brain. Actually, you're kind of thinking, would I fill my coffee mug with liters or milliliters? More or less than this guy? When I drop it, you can tell me. My coffee mug would be
Milliliters.
Milliliters, right? Because it's going to be less than a liter. What about a juice container? And this looks kind of like a juice container you would buy from the store. So let me go ahead and grab, I have an orange juice container here. Here's my orange juice container. It's actually a half gallon exactly. But if you were comparing, would you say that my orange juice container would be measured in liters or milliliters? When I drop them, you can tell me. Liters or milliliters?
Liters.
Probably liters. They look pretty close in size, right? In fact, this tells me that it's 1.89 liters. So it's actually almost 2 liters. The square makes it deceiving because it's a lot bigger base than my water bottle. How about a huge bucket? This is a bucket that I could use like the bucket we had in our science experiment the other day. Like a paint bucket, like a sand bucket. Would you measure that in liters or milliliters? Save it in your brain until I drop it. For that bucket, you would use
Liters.
very good. Nice work, my friend. We are going to actually do a couple of other estimations, and so I'm going to start here with choosing the appropriate units. Let's start with my kitchen sink. And I'm going to go ahead and call my random friends of the room. So I'm looking for mathematicians that are participating, my rock star math geniuses. Kitchen sink, liters or milliliters? Rylan.
Liters.
Liters, right? I don't want to just do drops of water at a time in my sink. That would take forever. What about a little teacup? Maddie. So if I have one little teacup to drink out of, am I going to fill it with these? Nope, I will probably use milliliters. Good, because that's a tiny one. How about a soup spoon? Ellie. Just one spoon. Would I be able to fill it with my liters or small milliliters? Small milliliters, very good. What about your washing machine? Eli.
Liters.
Probably liters, right? That's pretty big. So now we get to estimate with actual numbers. If I've got that container of juice, do you think that my juice container has 1 liter, about this much, or just a 1 little eye drop, 1 milliliter? What would be more accurate for an estimate of a juice box, Skylar?
A liter.
A liter, because you're going to want to drink more than 1 tiny drop of juice, right? What about a bowl of soup? Would a bowl of soup hold 500 liters or 500 milliliters? Olivia?
500
Milliliters, right? Because that would be a whole lot of soup for just 1 bowl. It'd be overflowing. You ready for some story problems?
Wait. Yes.
Next problem. My pink people, you may go. This problem is one of my story problems that has a picture. Go ahead. There were 900 milliliters of water in a pitcher. So here's my pitcher of water. How many milliliters are in it?
900. That's
Harry
more than 9.
poured 500 milliliters of water into a bowl. So she took them from this pitcher, She poured out 500 milliliters.
I like
How many milliliters of water are left in the pitcher? If I'm starting with a full jug of 900 milliliters and I pour out 500, what would be a smart equation to represent what's happening? Emerson.
900 minus 500 equals 400 milliliters. Milliliters.
Milliliters. Let's see those gestures, friends. Do we agree with this thinking? Are we thinking something different? Emerson saying I started with 900 milliliters. I got rid of or poured out 500 and now I have 400.
Which means yes.
Everyone's agreeing and I agree too. Go ahead and give us a point, Emerson. What do you say?
Oh, yeah.
Numero ocho. Mr. Rojo put 6 liters of fuel into a gas can that can hold 10 liters. So showing me this gas can that's 10 liters tall. He put in 6 liters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many liters of, then he added more to fill the can. Let's go ahead and count. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many liters of fuel did he add to the can? Riley. 4 liters. Notice how in this first problem, I didn't really use my picture. So did I need an equation for that problem?
Yeah.
Absolutely, because this is how I represented my work with an equation. On this next problem, did I write an equation?
No.
No, because where did I represent my work?
On the picture.
On the picture. I just used the picture. I didn't even have to think of an equation. Hadley, can you restate for me how we show our work today? All the
I
time?
can.
Go on a friend and I'll come back to you.
On some pictures, you have to do a equation, but some of them you can just use the picture.
So some of my problems I would write an equation, but if I use the picture for my answer, do I have to do an equation?
No.
As long as I show my work with the picture. So for math today, when you're doing problems like this, if they've got their picture with all the lines, you, Ellie, you have to show your work. Absolutely. Do you have to show your work?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Do you have to show your work?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. But it can either be that you did an equation or that you use their picture to solve. You can do both, that's fine. But I just wanted you to see, like on this problem, it was easier to just count up on their picture lines than to try to write my equation. Capiche? Hadley, can you retell me what our directions are for word problems like this today?
On some pictures, you don't have to use the picture and just use the equation. But on some other pictures, you have to use the picture.
We don't have to.
Yeah. And it's not necessarily that you have to, but if the picture is the easier way to solve at that time, you don't necessarily have to write an equation. Nice work, Shirley. Let's look at numero nueve. Shelby needs to water each of her 3 plants with 200 milliliters of water. How many milliliters of water does she need?
That's a lot.
This picture says that each line is 100 milliliters, so I could either count 2 at a time, or I could do an equation.
Is there 3?
It's up to whatever mathematician is ready to solve this problem. Shelby needs to water 3 of her plants with 200 milliliters of water each. How many milliliters of water does she need? Dax man.
Wait, the equation first?
You can do the equation, absolutely.
3 times 200.
3 times 200. Well, that makes sense because she's got 3 groups, 3 plants with 200 milliliters each. Ooh, 3 times 200. Do we know how to multiply numbers that end in 0? Go ahead, keep going, Dax.
And then,
Oh.
multiply 200.
Oh, you could do that 200.
600.
Okay, so are you saying we're ignoring the zeros first and you're just looking at 3 times 2? Okay, so Dax, you were just saying because they're zeros, first I can ignore the zeros and do 3 times 2, which is 6. And then how many zeros are there, Dax? So since I ignored 2 zeros, how many zeros do I need to add? 2. So my answer is 600 milliliters. Everybody practice saying that word again? Milliliters. It's different than millimeters because millimeters are measuring length. Milliliters are measuring volume.
I'm exactly at 700.
Did you have a question on that one, Hadley? I already called groups. Really sorry. I'll have to wait. Alrighty. Next problem. Oh, nuts and bolts. Let me see if I need to use my textbook, because you're right, my copies were wrong. Here's the right page. We are actually doing activity 3. More word problems, practice. Nope.
Yep.
The deli sold 24 liters of lemonade in 3 days. The same amount was sold each day. How many liters of lemonade did the deli sell each day?
10.
I'm looking for a mathematician I haven't heard from yet, and I'm looking for focus from my friends because nothing should be in our hands, right? If the deli sold a total amount of 24 liters, and they sold the same amount each of 3 days, how could I represent this problem? And you can explain how to use my picture or an equation. Braylon? Okay, so you're saying I've got 24 liters and I divided that into 3 days of equal sales. What would you get if we did it that way, Braylon? You're not Braylon. Liters. Do I need to write the word liters or can I do a shortcut? Olivia? I can just write an L like this.
No.
What has to be special, friends? It has to be a capital L. Very good. Numero 11. You ready for this one?
Yes.
Tim has a bucket filled with 12 liters of water and a bucket filled with 20 liters of water. Now I do want to point out, and I'm going to zoom in here so for you guys to see. Did you notice that these buckets don't just say 1 liter, they say 2 liter? Since it says 2 liters next to the first line, that tells you that you have to count by 2s. If it says 100 on this line, that means that you have to count by 100s. Now this one's even sneakier because look, 100's on the long line, but there's short lines in between each long line.
That's 50.
Good, so each small line would be 50. You have to really watch that if you are using the pictures. So I want to use the picture for this problem. They're saying this bucket has 12 liters, and we'll double check. Count with me. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So that's right, this one's got 12 liters. And then it says his other bucket has 20 liters. Check with me. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Good deal. They want to know what is the total liquid volume of the buckets. Well, total is a good word to help us know what to do, right? But when they're asking total liquid volume, I don't want an answer right now, but I want to know who can tell me what is liquid volume. What are they asking me to find? Keegan? Yeah, how much liquid is filling up the insides of these? Because the volume is the space inside of a 3D object, right? So we know areas, the space inside. For the space inside, we multiply. Volume is pretty much the same thing, except for we don't know how to multiply circles, right? And the bottom of this can is a circle. This is 3D, so it's the space inside of a 3D object. Who can tell me what volume is? River?
The space inside of a 3D shape.
Yeah, 3D shape or object. Bingo. So if we want to know his total liquid volume, and one of them holds 20 liters, and the other holds 12 liters, what would I do with those amounts to find his total liquid volume? Ellie? I would add them. I would just put those together. So 20 plus 12.
32.
What'd you get, Ellie? 32. Sorry, now I just stole your picture. 32 liters. 32 liters. Do I have to do an equation for this one?
No, because you
Emerson?
did the picture.
Yeah. We did. She did it in her head. We used our picture, so do I have to do an equation on this one? No, as long as you show your work. It can be with the picture or with an equation. Either way works. Capiche? Did you have a question, Addison?
No, but I wanted to tell you how I solved that.
Sure. How'd you solve it?
So since it was 20 plus 12, instead of doing 20 plus 12, I did 20 plus 10. That's 30. Then I added 2 more, and that's 32.
That's totally what I do in my brain for those two. Let's do numero
I did that in
12.
kindergarten. People say
Number 12. Bella made a smoothie and gave her friend 250 milliliters. There are 550 milliliters left. How many milliliters of smoothie did Sarah make? Uh-oh. They have a little typo here. They really mean Bella. They should have stuck with the same name. But she made a smoothie and she gave her friend 250 milliliters. So she made a smoothie in this whole pitcher. She gave away 250 and there's 550 left. How many milliliters did she make in all? What would I do to solve this? And you can tell me how to use my picture or an equation. Macy, what do you think? So think about that. If I have 250 on top, can I take away 550 from that? Okay, let's see gestures. Macy says take 550, because that's the big number, and subtract 250. Do you agree? Or are you thinking something different? I got both. I see some friends are thinking something different, and I see a couple agree. Somebody's thinking different. Macy, go ahead and call on someone who's thinking something different. See what they're thinking.
I think you should do 550 plus 250 because whatever that equals is how many we started.
Oh, so we have to count, we have to add the amount she gave away to figure out how much we started with? What do you think, Macy? Did that change your thinking, or are you going to stick with what you had before? Change your thinking? What do you guys think? Should we add, or are you still thinking something different? A lot more agreeing. Rylan, you're still thinking something different?
So you know, I told you 11 times 12
Yeah.
is 132. I took away the times and put a minus, and I took away 100, and it left me up with 30. Like, I was talking about that.
Whoops. Let me show you guys with a picture and double check that our adding equation is right, okay? So here's our picture here. And it says, I'm just going to assume that it was full to start with. It says she gave her friend 250. So here's 100, 250. So here's how much she gave away. That's all gone, right? Now there's 550 milliliters left. So count by hundreds with me. Well, we better do, I'm going to start from the bottom here. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, and 50. Uh-oh, I may have started at the wrong spot before. There was 550. 1, 2, 3, 4, 550. Maybe I should have counted up from there instead. This purple fuzzy line is showing how much we ended up with. So this is 550. Oh, I wanted to switch colors, not keep purple. We'll do green. Now let's count, we'll add the 250 that she gave her friend. So here's 50 to get me to the next big line. 50, and then let's count 200 more. 100, 200. Oh, so I just started a 50 too high. Do you still think we're gonna add those numbers to figure out how much we made to begin with?
Yeah.
I do too. Does anybody have that added up in their brain? 250 and 550. Riley?
750.
Ooh, 800. What do you guys think?
I
Do you
thought
agree?
it was.
You think something different?
I thought it was 5.
It is 800. It is, and that's tricky. Here's my reminder to you. 550 plus 250. I would stack those up definitely because they're big numbers. How many zeros do we have?
0.
How many tens do we have? We have 0 tens?
So.
Oh, I'm gonna look for a mathematician here because I'm thinking, what's 5 plus 5? That's my tens, right? 5 plus 5. What is that, Rylan? 10. So I'm gonna have to put down my 0 and carry that 10 over, right? Because 10 tens is actually equal to 100. So it goes into my hundreds. 1 plus 5 plus 2. I'm looking for a GTA. Looking for GTA on that one, Mr. Dingle. It is 8. So Riley is absolutely right. We have 800 milliliters. 800 milliliters. Don't forget the capital L. Guess what? You have 2 practice problems to try on your own. So pull out your markers. All right, you may work this one out. Online friends, you're working this out on a board.
I don't have an expo marker.
Here's your first one. Diane has 36 cups of
My
lemonade
neighbor's name.
to divide equally among 4 tables. How many cups should she put at each table? This says solve. Use a drawing if you need to. I think a drawing would be smart. But you can also just use an equation.
I didn't hear it.
Hendrix, we just pulled out our dry erase markers to work this problem out on our desk. So, thank you, sir. Diane has 30. Oh, my mic stopped. There we go.
Wait.
Diane has 36 cups of lemonade
36 divided
to
by
divide equally among 4 tables. How many cups should she put at each table? Oh, my friends, this is going to be on your slides. My friends here, I'm going to be coming around and checking your work. And do our next problem.
Next problem. Next problem. Next problem.
Mr. Valle filled 7 jars with his famous barbecue sauce. Each jar holds 2 pints. How many pints of sauce did he have? Ooh,
Barbecue
Mr. Valle,
sauce.
this is another one you're working on your own. Mr. Valle filled 7 jars with his famous barbecue sauce. Each jar holds 2 pints. How many pints of sauce did he have? You guys are working it out on your own at your desk. Online friends, this will be on your slides and I will be checking your answer. Good luck.